I do have a couple of pieces of gear that I haven't done anything with yet that have been kind of sitting here. And also I got a brand new piece of gear in yesterday that I want to kind of talk you through. My goal is, I'm going to get to all of this, but my goal is to find not just the best of the best gear, but the best of the entryway gear as well, because I'm finding that a lot of my audience, especially entrepreneurs who are kind of getting started with video, they're a little afraid of video in the first place. Raise your hand, tell me in the comments if that is feeling like you. A little afraid of video, and so like the investment of the high quality gear that I use and recommend is not necessarily a fun idea until you kind of get used to it. And when you have a setup like mine, I'm going to show you behind the scenes, but when you have all of the fancy stuff and you haven't really gotten good at the presence and the delivery and the things that really matter, knowing how to actually talk to your audience and engage with your audience in a live environment, whether we're talking YouTube live, streaming, any of that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do you any good. It actually harms you. So I'm looking at ways to support you better. And I'm going to talk about this new camera and what it has the potential to do, and maybe even make you feel better about seeing yourself on video as well. So I'm excited. So we're going to take you behind the scenes. I've already gotten some pre-submitted questions about like setups for virtual events. We've got our own virtual event coming up on August 20th. And if you're not registered, oh my gosh, get in there now. We're going to have so much fun. But yeah, I'm going to show you behind the scenes. I'm going to talk about gear. And we're also going to talk about what really truly matters in doing video, not just the gear, right? Like we all know we love the gear, but Kevin says, stoked to check this out. I'm looking forward to seeing your new kit. Nathan said, also fantastic. Stephen, hi, Luria. Hi, nice to see you. I actually did not set up to get questions, team. I'm talking to my team right now. I'm actually just kind of like looking at chat over here. Right here. So if I miss anything, you can tell me, but I have to issue a trigger warning as you all kind of get in. Trigger warning issue as I take you behind the scenes. You might get triggered a little bit from the mess of cables. You're going to see a lot of cables today. Just know that I am not done building. So I actually do not. So I find it, and I've built studios for 20 years, and I do them for our clients, our done for you clients like Amy Porterfield and Michael Hyatt and all of that. And I find that it is definitely not, it is a waste of time to try and cable manage before you actually get everything where you want it to be. I'm still getting cameras set up. I don't have everything plugged in yet, but that is my trigger warning issue for you. So that you don't, oh no, Steven says, oh no, not cables, not cables. You are going to see some cables today. I promise you that. Don't get mad at me. All right, I have a question for you. Where are you in the process of doing video? Completely set up with something like this, multiple monitors, etc., etc. Maybe you have a simpler setup, like just a camera and a mic. I forgot to, here. This setup is supposed to be prettier. So I have the up desk here, not the up desk. This is a cheap version of what is supposed to be an up desk. It doesn't even have programmable buttons. I did not realize that when I bought it. Anyway, so where are you in your process of doing video? I want to hear that. And Justin says, I will avert my eyes. I will avert my eyes. I don't blame you. I totally agree. You have to see how it's going to lay out. Exactly. There is no point here. Let's just get to the cables right away. So I'm going to walk you through kind of everything that I have going on here, and I will actually see you can see I've got tools. I've got the ladder. I mean, the ladder, to be honest, has been in here for a while, but all the cables. But it is really, I actually have to replace a couple of the cables. You can see some of them are not giving me enough length to be able to cable manage properly. And when I have to walk that way, I have to like pull that cable up and over my head. So that's not a good situation. Rob says, holy, the monitors. All right. So this is all you need to get started. Well, this is all you need to do video in the first place, is your like laptop camera. You could do something like, webcams, Facecam Neo. This is a line from Elgato that is meant to be, and these just came. They released last year. They had shipping issues to get them to me. And so that was partly my fault. I was in the process of moving and stuff. But these are a streamlined, less expensive option. So that's one thing I'm looking into. And then this is the new Facecam 4K. You can see that. Focus. Okay, it's not focusing. This is the new Facecam 4K. Now you'll notice the big difference here. This is 60 frames per second. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. I can talk to you about what it does, but you don't need to worry about all the terminology either. So the interesting thing about this camera is, and this is the native output. I haven't done any camera adjustments to, get like all of the adjustments to get it looking exactly the way I want it. But it's a pretty good just native output, to be honest. But what is making this really super interesting is that you can attach filters to it. Now, what does that mean? What does that do? Filters, just in videography and the camera world, allow you, I'm trying to put my, hold on. I was trying to put my switch pod down. Thank you, Pavlin. So filters allow you to kind of enhance the quality of a camera's output. And so some of the things that I've been hearing from you is, I hate my wrinkles. I hate seeing, the high quality. You get the like Sony ZV-E10 that I recommend, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know I look like that. Holy cow, I don't want to look like that. First of all, I am a massive, massive fan of just showing up as you are. The audience is not there judging you. We don't see you how you see you. We don't see the flaws. We don't see the wrinkles. I don't actually believe in flaws in the first place. We are who we are. And I think you're beautiful just as you are. So I am not a fan of filters in terms of like the beauty filters that social like platforms give us. But one of the things that these filters on the camera can do is a little softening without the fakeness. So your skin could look a little softer, right? If you have harsh lights, and you haven't been able to dial those lights in, one of the things that the filters can do is kind of diffuse the light a little bit. And so it's a really interesting thing. And I've not really talked about filters in the past to my audience from the big quality cameras because they're less needed, but on a webcam, it's an interesting thought. Now I don't have the filters on hand today. They're coming out over the weekend. And so unfortunately, but next week I'll be able to show you that. So I was going to do a whole stream about that camera today, but I want to wait till the filters so I can really explain and show what the possibilities are with that. All right. So let's see. We've got, Kevin says, because I was asking you all where you are with your video setup. Kevin says, I'm nearly all set up. I got my 2 key lights, Stream Deck, and teleprompter. Congratulations, Kevin. CK, I mean, some of them are colors, so I think that counts as management. There you go, the cables. I like it. Nathan says, you're using OBS Studio, DSLR, prompter, 5 screens, Shure mic, 2 Stream Decks, Wave XLR, and more. My cables are organized and covered in white tubes to minimize the mess. Fantastic. We can talk about cable management if we want to today. I can go grab some of my favorite cable management things for sure. Upstate says, what brand is the vertical mounting poles you have? Oh, like these, like this random crooked pole sitting here. I just moved this camera out of the way. This is going to be my one of my behind the scenes shots. But it's just kind of like sitting out of the way at the moment. These are Varipoles. I have a whole video on setting up Varipoles and using mounts on them, like the mounts that I have up there to hold the cameras and lights. So if you, we can grab that link and drop that in the chat room. It's a whole tutorial video here on my channel that I think is a pretty damn good tutorial. It's very in-depth. And so if you're looking to understand using these vertical poles, you could watch that, and that will really get you going better than just me trying to explain it right now. Justin says, I'm finally happy with my setup. It makes it so much easier to make videos, and I hired a VA to edit my videos. Fantastic. I love to hear that. Let's see. You guys are talking amongst yourselves. Yes, I know I have been very, inconsistent. So here's the thing. I have been working really hard, and I've been honest with my transition over the last couple of years in terms of kind of removing some stuff from my business that just wasn't serving me, and really realigning with my vision going forward. And I got just a little bit of kind of behind the scenes here, as we're behind the scenes, behind the scenes in another way. I got really clear on, I love the tech, you know, like I love, as you can see, I love my setup, but I believe it's a tool. And I spent years supporting people, and they were procrastinating actually doing video and doing video profitably for their business, so much that the tech was just becoming a procrastination tool. And so I had a real heart-to-heart moment with myself, and I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to help you procrastinate and just spend a whole bunch of money on the gear so that you can not make money in your business and grow your audience and actually have the impact that you're here to have and doing the thing that only you can do. And through that process of, okay, all the gear, fun, love it. I've been doing tech stuff for 20 years. It's great. But most of the people that I want, that are trying to have an impact, that are scared of video, which is the mass majority of people, who don't want to spend and waste time on a gear setup. There are times when it's needed, right? Like a virtual event. We're going to talk about doing virtual events and what kind of setup is required for that. And so there are kind of times and moments where you want to have a little bit of a tech conversation. My goal for you is to actually turn video into high converting video, not just doing video for video's sakes, not just going live on Zoom or YouTube to talk. Like, I want you to do it strategically and intentionally. And that's what, when I was saying like, okay, this is how I want to show up for my audience going forward. Then I also had to have a heart-to-heart with myself about what is it that I really am great at teaching. And I simplify gear really, really well. I do. And I also do so much more than that I've never really put forward. I've taught in behind the scenes of my courses and my memberships and things like that. But what I do so well for my own world, for my own audience, and what I help my clients do, like when I was helping Marie Forleo, do her live launch last year, I got like, oh, wow, this is what I'm actually really great at. And that is turning video into a high converting experience. So that's what I'm really helping you do. And I've been so focused on really fine-tuning how I'm going to do that going forward, and fine-tuning, making sure that you have the support that you need to do video more intentionally versus just like boom, like let's just go live and talk about nothing, right? Like if you want to do that, great. But I know so many people who are trying to grow their audience so that they can grow their business and have a bigger impact and make a bigger difference in this life. That is my core passion, helping you do so. So I do have an event coming up. And we're going to be talking and diving way deeper into that. So if you want to kind of get a sneak peek, you can join me on a free training next week. But if you just want to join the event, you can dive straight in. We're going to drop both of those links. It's only $97. And it's not even about me making money for that. It is about you being invested in showing up and doing the work with us. It is a done with you event. So we're actually going to map out your strategy together so that you have high converting video presence from first impression to final offer. All right. So let's see. Let me catch up on chat. INR, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. And somebody asked earlier, Stash says, I'm so happy I caught a live. I've learned so much from watching your videos. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do appreciate that so much. Is Stash your real name? Let me know. Curious. Business Growth says you can generally use the standard 49 millimeter filters. Yes, exactly. So that is kind of what I'm waiting on arriving, those 49 millimeters for the Facecam 4K. I did have somebody ask earlier, what are the crowns? This is a new a new leaderboard experience on YouTube live stream. And it's really, I can't turn it off and I can't manage that. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. But you can kind of see where you are on the top fans leaderboard. The more you participate, the better crown you get. It's like when I give out 100 points, right? All right, so let's talk a little bit. I'm going to show you this as well. This is another thing that I have been sitting on. And you know how much I love my Elgato prompters, right? These wonderful small prompters that are plug and play. This is a different version of this is a different company. It is the Padcaster, and I haven't even opened it, as you can see, which is bad, but this is a little bit of a more portable one, and there are some other things like the LCD display that I need to put into it, but I'm going to be unboxing that and testing this to see if this is maybe even a better option for some of you. Some of you, you know, have had issues with the Elgato prompter. I think they've really honestly worked out. Hey, you can see me over there and you can see me over here. They've really worked out a lot of the Elgato issues, and so I don't think it's really that big of an issue anymore, but I know that some of you have asked for other options as well. All right, so let's talk about my setup here. So that's where you guys are right now, and I can make you a little bigger because I have to kind of, there we go. So Stash is not my real name, Robert. Okay, thank you. I just enjoy getting to know what your real names are. That way I can kind of talk to you personally and get to know you a little bit more. And what is your stage name? So what do you do? What's your content? Tell me. And if you have not been in this community for very long, please drop what your stories, labels, and microphones. Hey, from the UK. I don't know that I've seen you in here. If you're new to me or haven't really joined consistently on my live streams, will you do me a massive favor and actually drop your content, like what it is you're doing? You can't drop a link, but I would love to hear like what you are doing on video. Padcaster looks interesting. Yes, I can't wait to get that out and actually set up and tested. I have a bazillion prompters in this space. And so there will be, let me just kind of quickly go over my plan, because so what I want in this studio space, so I have 2 studio spaces. I'm going to have 3. This is my simple setup. This is more for like coaching calls and where I can put the gallery right here on the, you know, the prompter and see you up close and personal and look you in the eye. But this is really my simple setup here. That will be running from the Mac Mini, That's a Mac Mini, right? They keep changing with all the new names. That's my workstation. So that is literally just my laptop and me working away in between videos. I like to separate them. Now, let me have this conversation with you. Ideal setup is that your space, your camera, your computer that you're using to go live, to do webinars, to do Zoom calls, all of that, ideally is kind of like it should be separated. But these days, it doesn't matter as much as it did before. Like, you've heard me say that for years, if you've been paying attention to me. It doesn't matter so much anymore, especially with the M chips on the Macs, because they can handle so much more. And so, like, you don't have to do that. I just prefer it. I'm stuck in my ways. I've been doing this stuff for 20 years. And yes, technology has changed, but I like certain things the way I like it for my performing, like, not performances. I just read performing up on the chat room, but for my streams and when I'm on camera. So that's the way I do it. And there are some things in this setup that I'm doing because I have my set in my ways types of ways that I like to do video, especially virtual events. This is my virtual event setup, and that, like, my more like high-tech setup, because I do a lot. Like, I'm gonna have 3 different sets here. There's gonna be another set here. Now, what I'm going to do on this setup is actually run this totally separate from anything else here. What I'm gonna do is set up a mobile setup, a mobile, like, computer prompter setup, and like I have like a little tray that'll go on a C-stand rolling. That way I can roll it out of the way, and then I can also use that in various places around the house as needed. So that's in the works. I just haven't built it out yet. I just kind of been assembling the gear for it. And so that will be a setup right here. There will be a behind the scenes camera here. There will be another behind the scenes camera. I haven't decided on which other corner, but I want you guys to be able to see this view and also the view kind of like coming from behind. And then, yeah, and then this is my like simple setup, right? So my job is to show you possibilities for what you are needing and doing in your own content world. And so I don't want, if you're scared of tech, don't worry, you don't have to do what I do with the like fancier gear. That's why I have the simple setup, because I want to show you how easy it can be. A 2-monitor setup is ideal. You don't have to have that to start, but when you start doing screen share things on like webinars and trainings, having a second monitor is super, super helpful. We can dive into that if you have questions around that. Yes, so I will have that mobile rolling set, and that will have a prompter on it. Maybe I'll even use the Padcaster for that one. I'm starting to run out of prompters. Oh, I've got another one line. See, like, I've got gear everywhere. But that's part of the building process. All right, so let's go back to this. Anne had asked, she couldn't make it live, but Anne LaFollette, one of my favorite humans in this world, we built her video studio. She is doing like her own virtual events as well. So I have a 3-day virtual event coming up in August 20th. I cannot wait to see those of you who are joining me there. But here's how I set up. So I have Ecamm here, and that allows me to do all my controls. And then what will be going on here is you guys on Zoom, if you're joining us in the virtual event for 3 days, and we're going to, oh my gosh, get so much done in that space. And you're going to learn so much about not just doing video, but doing video intentionally with purpose. And that is actually helping you convert and grow your business so that you can have that bigger impact. You guys will be all here on a Zoom gallery. And then there will be another Zoom gallery over here. This actually computer will be, depending on how many people we have, I might actually have this connected to a separate computer, not this computer. And that will be bringing in the one Zoom like kind of gallery so I can see more of you at the same time. So essentially you guys will be here and here. in a Zoom gallery, so I can see your faces, big, bold. I can read all of your names, right? And then your chats. So the Zoom chat will be here, and then over here I will have things like, now you can run. I just want to preface this. You can run a virtual event just by yourself. Totally possible. The way I do virtual events, because I have the technological knowledge, this is a service that we actually provide to our clients one-on-one. So like, that's why I'm prefacing that. You don't have to have all of this. But the way I run it is India will be producing the event, so that I can stay focused on my content, delivering and making sure I am showing up 1000% solely for you and making sure that you're getting the most out of the event that is possible. So that's why then on this monitor, I will have the chat that my team can like give me notes, like speed up, slow down, stop talking right now. Like all the, any like just one quick, like, hey, do this, don't do that, kind of notes, like stall because we're having a tech issue or whatever. So that will be there. Also, I will have like a timer and my run of show. If you're not familiar with the term of run of show, it's literally just I'll just kind of, a run of show is really just exactly what is happening at what time. So what time do we start this segment? What is the content of that segment? Not the like whole content, but just like kind of recap. If I have anybody joining me on screen, their name, their information, and then more information for like the producer side of things, which is like what visuals do we need on screen, et cetera, et cetera. Most of the visuals that we will have during this event will be run from my Ecamm, and that will be all built out there. But the producer, India, will be able to have a lot more capabilities as well. Let's see, this will also, so it'll have like run of show and a timer and kind of my preview. This is my program. This is a program feed. So what that does is allows me to actually make sure that I know what you're seeing. So if I click the wrong button or if India does something while producing, I can, like get back to what I wanted to show you if that goes wrong. Hello, Sammy. Let's see. Creator. Hold on. Oh, Renee said hello. Low key, all caps, love this setup. Kathleen says magic. And so Steven is asking how I'm controlling everything. Everything is from Ecamm. Now everything currently is coming into the same computer, this one Mac Studio. And guys, I'm still on an M2 Mac Studio and it's powering everything. So you don't have to have the best of the best. I have not upgraded myself because it's working. And why spend money on something to fix something that isn't working, right? And so then I'll also have other documents over here where I can, just have more information at my fingertips. So things like, this is my, hold on, let me get rid of notes here. Okay. Here, this is my very, very, very rough sketch at kind of what I'm planning. So zoom up there, those two right there, and then chat there, right? And then I will have team chat and then I will have, what does that say? Preview, my program feed. And then I'm going to play with putting a timer here on that monitor versus over here in this corner that I can quickly see it. And that's just to keep me on track and making sure I don't go over time too much because I can talk. And then we also have like mod docs and things like that. I will have a separate computer for screen share. Again, this is one of those ideal things that is not absolutely necessary. But I love to do screen share on a separate computer. Gives me more control, gives me more flexibility, and I like how it comes in as a separate camera into the system. And that way I can actually, like I said, just have more control as well. How do I register for the event? Stories. I would love to see you there. You can go to livestreamingpros.com, or actually you can go to eyr.live. Just expand your reach is the event name. eyr.live will get you there. We're going to drop that link as well. And I think it's even pinned to the chat. So you can grab that link right there. I'm running on a 5-year-old mini M1 and still works great. Fantastic, right? Like you don't need to spend money on things that you don't need. But that way you can put more money into your business, into your audience growth, maybe run some ads, and make sure that you're growing your impact, not just your studio. And that's what we're talking about at this event that we're doing, is really how to do high converting video, not just any video. All right, let's see. I have fallen behind on comments. I apologize. Agree. I do the same using a really old MacBook and a Keynote. I love that. I'm gonna celebrate you doing what you got to do to get the job done, right? Like for sure. Hello from Madrid. Awesome. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Nice run of show is very helpful for the producer too. Yes, that's one of the reasons that we do a run of show. It's not just for me. It's for the producer. And again, like this is our typical, the way we set up for this is our typical way of doing it for our clients as well. Like I said, been doing this for 20 years. So we have kind of like systems that we use, and that run of show is a vital part of that system. When you're doing an event yourself, what do you need versus what is nice to have? You really just need, something to be able to connect you. You need the camera and your mic, and get that into Zoom. Do your event in Zoom for sure, because that's the most engaging way. So you can have the two-way conversation, not just a broadcast out. And then you're going to, need your content. That's number one. If you have nothing else, the content is all that matters. Truly. But all the ability for me to see and do things. I've done streams and events for 8 hours a day, a week long, 24 hours, streams. I've done 10, 12-hour days, for a week as well. Like I've done a lot of really intense lives. And that's where my systems come from, is having full capabilities. But again, if you're running it yourself, ask me questions like, do I need this or do I need that? What do we really need for your setup? You don't need all of these monitors. That is an intense setup for sure. And it's, what is it? So this is a single monitor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 monitors. And then I'll have the screen share as well, a laptop sitting over here. So that's like 7 monitors. Not absolutely necessary. The reason that, and just for more clarification, the reason that I like to have so many monitors is separation of information and control. That allows me to not have to be clicking and dragging and moving and finding things. Everything has a space. Everything has a place, and all I have to do is look. I don't have to click and drag and move things around. That's when things get flustered. That's when you get flustered on camera. So when you are actually kind of doing it yourself and you don't have a producer, then I would encourage you to really think through, what are the things that I really need to see and have a control over, and only set yourself up for that. If that requires, maybe you make one monitor serve 5 different purposes, that's okay too. As long as you don't have to, where did that app go? Where is this thing? Now I need that thing, right? That's my goal for you, is if you can set yourself up for that, then you're gonna have way more success. And then you can focus on your content. Because number one of having high converting videos isn't just the tech. It's not just the delivery. It's all of the things kind of working together to serve you, but most importantly, to serve the audience. How are you showing up for them? If you're flustered, if you're trying to kind of do all of the things, you're not able to pour your heart into that content. Speaking of heart, for our virtual event, Callie and India are actually going to be here on site with me. Sorry, Renee. So we're going to have both of them here. I am thinking, and I don't know yet because I just rearranged my studio. For those of you who, again, trigger warning, cables are not managed yet. I'm still building. I still have a whole lot of gear on the floor. So I actually had this table parallel, like straight, but I wanted these monitors, and my camera used to be right here at the edge, but then that's the bathroom. And so I needed to not block the bathroom with gear. This is super movable. And then, so I moved the camera over there. Now it is actually angled. The desk, as you can see, is also angled, and kind of just like these two are kind of like overlapping, but not in a way that as I raise or lower one, they don't interfere with each other. And then that's straight. So the angle is actually giving me so much more room in this space, which is awesome. And so I think I'm gonna put India here as the producer. So that's another thing is the reason I have my producer coming on site is because I want, like, having a remote producer is fantastic. Again, it's what we do for our clients, and it works perfectly well. Because I'm set in my ways, because I have experiences that most people don't, I love having a producer on site. I love being able to have that just like motion happening in my peripheral that I can just know exactly, because India and I have worked together so much that we can just talk without talking, right? And so for me personally, that's how I'm going to do it. You don't have to do that. But for me, it's just nice. It's a nice to have it so that, again, I can show up fully for the content and not worry about if something goes wrong technically, she'll be on site to fix it, and I can continue to just be there for you. That's what we did with Marie Forleo's event last year. I'm on site. We're managing the technical difficulties while she's being able to communicate with the audience. That's just my favorite way of doing live events as a host, not just a producer, right? What if you never lock your gear? What do you mean? What if you never lock your gear? Oh, Stephen, great question about my resolution. I'll talk about that first in a second. Oh, locked gear. You can't manage cables until you've locked a gear. Got it. That's what you were saying. I've also done Lita 30 days in a row. Yes, you're right. And I know, Sammy, I issued a trigger warning. Don't yell at me about the cables. Man, people were angry at me online when I posted a picture of those cables. I got all kinds of harsh words. Russell, how are you serving the audience? It's a wonderful mantra for us all. Absolutely. And that's why I like to be able to just be fully present so that I can show up for the content and the audience in a way that you can't. You have a little bit more hiccups when you're trying to do it all, right? And so that's just the reality. I have the ability, I have the team to be able to do so. You don't necessarily have to start that way. All right. So yes, so India will be here in person. Like I said, I think I'm going to put her here producing, and then, she could literally just like raise her hand, throw something at me to communicate with me. Of course, we'll have that doc over there. And Stephen, I haven't forgotten your question. And then the other thing is Callie is going to be on site as well. So she'll be able to be on camera, engaging with you guys as well, and making sure that we have a really cool, fun community experience, not just a stream of like content. This event is going to be, so if you are you're an entrepreneur running a business, you want high converting video, this Expand Your Reach event is going to get you there. It's going to teach you from first impression to final offer the things that you need. And we don't do just delivery of information. We do fun. If you've ever been to one of our events before, you know, that's why I have you up big on the screens. There you go. Like, you're going to be huge on my screens so that I can really connect with you, so that Callie can talk to you, so that we can have a party together while we're learning it. I don't see any reason why learning shouldn't be also a huge amount of fun. So Callie will be here, India will be here. I don't know, love your cat. I don't know who we're talking. Oh, maybe CK. I don't know. But speaking of, Abby will also have her own camera. Abs, you want to say hi? Hi, good mornings. Abby will also have her own camera and be there at the event cheering you all on. And speaking of, it is her 16th birthday on the 11th. 16! So I have to figure out what to do to celebrate that. I was thinking we could host like a virtual, like just a Zoom call, all of us, and celebrate all of our pets. What do you guys think? I don't know. I haven't come up with the best solution for celebrating the birthday, but we're going to. She's giving me massive side eye now. So if you have any ideas, do tell. But yes, so during the virtual event, it's not just about learning. It's not just about having fun. It's about bringing our favorite beings together as well. So I want to see your pets for sure. I haven't figured out where to put the Abby Cam, okay? Abby Camping is making a return for sure. So tell me what you think I should do. Okay, so I could put her like over here in this space because this is like my second set, and my face goes here, my body goes here on that camera. So nothing will be like here, really, maybe a couple lights. I could put her here, and then I could put her in between there. I could put her here, not for the virtual event if India is there. I like to have her, she likes to be close. So I don't know about like putting her all the way over here when I'm spending majority of my time here. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to put her in the corner because you don't put baby in a corner. So those are my thoughts. What questions do we have coming in? Let me grab my computer and see if I've missed some questions, because I'm sure I have. Oh, Stephen, you asked what resolution I'm using on each of the monitors. Nap interrupted. I'm sorry, Abby. An Abby eye level throne. Yes, for sure. You want to put it on camera so people can see your feet either. That's a good little catch there, for sure. I need to definitely think about that. Okay. They definitely do, Sammy. All right, so the resolution. This is the highest resolution, and that's an ultra wide monitor that I can fit a whole bunch of things on. And then, you know, these are all like 1080 just regular. These two are actually going to be lower resolution. Let me see. I've been messing with the resolution on especially this one that has chat. I need to be able to see names in Zoom, and I need to be able to see text of the chat. And so that's kind of driving choices. The lower the resolution, the bigger the text. So let me see. I'm just gonna go here. This one, oh, okay, it reverted. I did have it at 720, but looks like I don't necessarily have to as long as the text is big enough. But I had planned and I had it at like a 720. So we'll see. I'll see where it lands. I haven't, like I said, like I'm still kind of setting everything up, making sure everything has a place before I nail everything down, figuring out where I prefer, like my visual eyesight, like where I'm going to do some tests. We're going to do some run throughs, and maybe it would be fun to invite you guys to those run throughs. I don't know. What do you think? A little behind the scenes in our run throughs for the event. But where do I prefer as I'm hosting the content to have like the run of show versus the notes versus over here, that kind of thing. I just with this particular setup, right? Like every different setup requires a little bit of a different play in terms of what software you put. So you can increase the size of Zoom chat so you can run it at 1920. Yes, I could. But also it's the reason that I was testing this the other day, and that's when I actually increased or decreased the resolution, because the names of the people in the gallery were a little too small for me to read. I am over 40, so there's that. So it wasn't so much the chat, it was more the names that needed to be a little clearer. So that was my little like trick for that. Okay. No feed cam for free, for sure. Let me just go into and see if I missed any of the questions. Was the square footage of my room? If I remember correctly, it's a 10 by 12. And yeah, how many peeps are producing, supporting? Stephen asked. So like I said, India and Callie will be supporting. Kathleen will be supporting. I'm sure Paul will be around as well. We haven't really talked about that, but he was last time we did this. And then Justin, actually Let Your Nerd Be Heard in the chat room, is also supporting this event as well. So we're going to have a really fun experience for you. There will be leaderboards, there will be prizes, there will be all kinds of fun stuff to just make the experience not sitting there for 3 days learning and, oh my God, my brain hurts, right? So you're going to learn a lot. You're going to do a lot because it's a done with you experience. But Justin is making sure that we have a full experience on the back end and front end for you so that you get everything that you need in one place. So yeah, we're going to have so much fun. Yeah, true, Justin. So yeah, I'm super appreciative. Justin and his wife actually are going to be supporting this event. So we've got quite a few people doing different things. Again, not absolutely necessary. This is what we teach. This is what we do for our one-on-one clients. So we have systems. You don't need a whole team to run a virtual event yourself, or any live stream or any webinar. You can do it all yourself. And that's one of the reasons that I built the video workflow systems that I built that you've probably heard me talking about earlier this year. A couple months ago is when we released those. And those video workflow systems are designed to accomplish a lot of what I've been talking about yourself, right? And from a single setup and not a complicated setup. Yes, Bama, yes, India is flying all the way here. And Callie now lives on the East Coast too, so she's going to be flying all the way here. We're going to be having so much fun. All right. How many streaming setups do I have now? Sammy wants to know. I think you weren't here when I was talking about it. So I have this setup. So basically I'm going to have 3. And it's different than my original 3. Let's see. So I have this one. This is really like my full control setup that can do anything I possibly can dream of. This is the simple setup, coaching calls, streams, recorded video as well. This is the background for the main set. The big one is that. And then this is the background for that minus the random pole sitting here. Again, randomness all around today. And then I will also have a rolling mobile set here that has a prompter on it, camera, microphone, light, all of the things that you need. And that's kind of not done at all yet. So I'm going to make that like least priority, to be honest, because I don't really need it for the event, which is in 3 weeks. So I've got a lot to do still. And so that might just get done afterwards. But we will have behind the scenes. We'll have the Ecamm. We'll have the OBSBot probably being able to follow me around. We'll have this new face cam. If you didn't see this earlier at the top of the thing, this new Facecam 4K. I'm testing it. I just plugged it in. So I don't really have any thoughts on it yet, but a pretty good native output. But the cool thing is that you can attach filters to it. And I'm going to teach you why that matters. I'm going to show you what it can do when I get those in, which I'm still waiting on. So does the new Elgato Cam have an adapter for prompter? No, they're saying, Adrian, they're saying it's ready to go for the prompter, but you're going to need to use the shroud for that. So it doesn't have like its own adapter. Yeah. Slumber party. Yeah, we're totally making a slumber party. I was going to get an Airbnb and take all this gear there, but then because I have internet issues here, but Comcast was able to, surprise, surprise, make my internet issues better. They came out, they did a whole bunch of work, and they made it better. Not perfect, but I'm also getting a second line in here. Again, I don't have great, I live in the Bay Area. I should have great internet options, but I don't here in this location. So I'm getting a second kind of 5G connection is all I can really get as a secondary. And so I have cable and I have 5G. Then I'm going to connect those to Speedify and make sure that I have you know, as solid of a connection as possible. But I haven't really been dropping. If you're in my coaching programs, you know, sometimes like my Zoom will drop even though I'm connected to Ethernet and things like that. So that seems to be majorly fixed. So we shouldn't have those types of issues for this event. And then I also was like, I really want a setup that works for the virtual event because it's not the only time we're going to do it. And I also want just the full capabilities in this studio setup. And oh my God, I hope that we don't get kicked out at the end of our lease. I keep thinking about that as I'm like setting everything up because it took me so long to actually start setting up because I've been so busy that it has just been kind of a procrastination thing because I've had to focus on a whole bunch of other things. So my life improved massively, Adrian, when I moved out of Comcast land. Yeah, I hear you on that. Not my favorite, but you know, it's the choice I have. So I hope to see you at the event. If you want kind of a sneak peek, we do have a free training next week to kind of show you what I mean by high converting video presence. How do you not just do videos and hope that they work? How do you actually do it with intention, strategy that actually converts your viewers into buyers? So yeah, your viewers into buyers in a way that feels human, in a way that builds trust, in a way that feels good to both you and the audience, and isn't just about a money grab, right? We don't want that. We want a long-term relationship with our audience. And it doesn't mean that it takes a long-term time to make that happen. You know, I had somebody who'd been watching me for almost 20 years on one of my trainings last week, this week, and you know, he like been through everything with me, and he showed up and he was super participatory. Like that's the kind of viewership that I want you to build as well. I live in a problem internet area as well, and boy, sometimes it really makes me mad. Well, at least they came and kind of started to try and help and fix that as well. So join us at the event, EYR.live, that is pinned to the chat room. And I don't know who's at the top of our leaderboard, but congratulations. We haven't been live since that leaderboard, I guess. Because we haven't been live since that leaderboard was released. Okay. Yeah, I got a good tech, and he did a lot to help. So I was shocked that I got a good tech. So I was really thankful for that. All right, you guys, I will see you next week at the free training if you join at the event, hopefully in 3 weeks, August 20th, 22nd. And I saw somebody say something about, you know, a job. I totally hear you. If you have a day job, if your business is not your full-time thing, But if your business is your full-time thing, or you really want it to become that, and you know what your product is, I feel like it's an important thing that you come to this program, and I should have said this way earlier, to this event. If you come to the event knowing what you are selling, right, at the end of the day, even if it's not out yet, but you're not sure, that this event will be the most effective for you. And so I want you like to be in the zone of, 3 days is a lot. I know that for sure because I have the same thoughts when I think maybe I should join that event. 3 days is a lot. I'm not asking you to waste time. I'm asking you to invest time in the things that are actually going to do you the most benefit to actually grow your audience and grow your business. Things are changing right now. AI is just tearing trust apart in viewers. The landscape of your sales for growing your course-based business, your coaching, your consulting, all of that is totally changing right now. And video and building trust through video is going to be the way that you overcome all of those obstacles. So I'm giving you permission to take 3 days to actually build your business, and do the things that are going to see the biggest growth, especially right now with all the crazy that is happening in this industry. And I just really want to support you doing that. So I'm giving you permission that it is okay to spend 3 days doing those things, because it's the important part, right? We get so caught up in other people's priorities for us, that I have really learned how to prioritize myself over other people's priorities. Like, for example, I don't even allow calls on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in my world anymore. I just don't. Like, nobody can book me for a call Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, unless it's so important that I deem it that important. And that has been life-changing for me, to allow myself the beginning of my work week to be fully present in the things that I need to do that is going to be the biggest impact in my business, right? So like shifts like that are really important for you in your own business. And so that's why I wanted to have that conversation with you about spending 3 days, right? Creative Classroom says, I'm so glad I changed from faceless to being on camera with all of the AI and AI voiceovers. Story says, okay, brilliant. Need to find out how many hours per day so I can make arrangements. Put aside 8 to 5 on your calendar, and for each of those 3 days, those 8 to 5 Pacific, I should say. All right. Well said, Gloria. Same here. Yes. That was one of the biggest shifts that I made, that allowed me to not just be like, I got nothing done this week. I got nothing done. Now I get a whole lot done of the right things for myself. All right, you guys rock. Thank you. I hope that this behind the scenes tour has been super fun for you and answered a lot of questions. If you have additional questions, drop them in the comments, of course. But I'll also be live next week as well. Maybe even a couple of times, we'll see. Have a wonderful weekend. Do something for yourself this weekend. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, everybody, if you were on Zoom, I would say unmute yourself and raise those hands and say bye, but you can't do that in this situation. Love you. Bye. And I know how to stop a live stream. I really do.